one free thumb and is wearing green again. This girl. Yeah, it's Saturday. I'm at the yarn shop, just got here. Haven't opened yet, but left a little early to take a big package to the post office, and I grabbed a coffee at the local coffee shop, which is a treat. In fact, I need to get that out of my car. Oh, I also got in a shipment of new craft books, so I'm excited to open that up and check those out. Let's see, my daughter is at home with her dad today, and so the goal is that I will get to dye lots of yarn, so we'll see. That should happen. Saturdays are always my very busy week at the shop with lots of customers. Looks like it's going to rain today though, so who knows. Every time it rains in other retail jobs that I have worked in the past, when it rains you get no customers, but there's something about this place, like when it rains everybody comes. I remember one time years ago, I swear it was like a monsoon outside, and I thought I should lock these doors because sometimes when it's really windy my glass doors blow open, and as you guys know, with the tornado especially, I'm very acutely aware now of the damage that can happen. But yeah, it was a couple years ago and the rain was just absolutely insane. I looked outside and it was like pitch black, so crazy, and all of a sudden I heard my door pop open and some lovely ladies came in, and I was like, all right, well, here we go, let me help you get some yarn. Anyway, so today could be very busy, we'll see. But I am going to be dyeing lots of yarn nonetheless. Normally on Saturdays I try not to dye yarn because it makes the building a lot hotter, and it's harder for me to be as attentive because I need to focus on customer needs. But yeah, no choice, I have to dye yarn today. So yeah, anyway, I really didn't get up too much this morning. I picked up the stitches for my left shoulder on my book club cardigan, and that's it. But I have to say, picking up stitches on the left was way easier than picking up on the right, because on the right, if I remember correctly, I think you had to pick up the stitches for the moss stitch and then the chart, so that made it harder to match the chart when picking up the number of stitches. But on the left side, you pick up for the chart first and then the moss stitch, so that makes it a lot easier. So I haven't knitted the first row yet to see if it lines up, but I'm pretty sure it's going to line up great, so yay for that. And now that I've done the pickup part, which took me, what, 5 minutes? Now that I've done the pickup part, I can actually work on that project again, so my attention is further divided. Pumpkin mode activated. I've got my pumpkin cup cozy here. This is a doodle pattern, Jamie Lomax's cozy pattern, and I used the pumpkin to make myself the ultimate fall beverage staple. Neat, huh? Yeah, okay. Boom, matching sweater. That's hanging up. Yep, I love them so much. Different pumpkin yarn. I used a different scrap. Yeah, I wish it was a nice cold day so I could double pumpkin here, but it's just single pumpkin today. I spent the first 20 minutes, I think, of my day reorganizing this section of yarns. All of this yarn used to hang up in the shop before I did the remodel, and I feel like this yarn is better organized when it's hung up, but I think I just kind of sorted it. So these are mostly like a lot of my non-superwash wools, if not all. They're almost all non-superwash wools, but I've got different brands here, and so I wanted to sort them by weight of yarn. So we've got like Quince & Co. up here, they're non-superwash stuff. So we've got fingering, and then ignore this cubby, that's not Quince & Co. And then we've got some sport, and then worsted. And then here we've got Imperial Yarn, which is an American wool company that I really like. I just don't have a lot from them these days, but this is fingering, sport, and then a little bit of worsted. So I'm trying this. I don't want this to feel like my leftovers area, but some of this stuff is like where I just have a little bit left of something. So yeah, but it's definitely better than it was, so that's good. Here's some of what I dyed yesterday. I'm about to rinse out these yarns, but this is a pan of virtual reality on sock yarn. I love it so much. So I need to rinse these and dry them. Yeah. And then I had some Moon River as well. I've got some pans of Cafe No Face here, and then something on top. I don't remember what this is. Dried poppies. Book day. I just got in a shipment of books that I'm so excited about. Some of these Some of these I hadn't heard of before I ordered them, but they looked amazing, like the Art of Crochet with Sock Weight yarn. This looks so beautiful. I'm excited to look through this book. And then this one, Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn, sounds pretty cool. The cover is kind of what got me. I mean, rainbows, I'm there. Love fingerless mitts. Children's knitting pattern book. These look so cute. Again, they got me with the color palette with this one. This one's been really popular since it came out in the cross stitch community, as has this one. And then we've got some crocheted amigurumi books. So we've got this fantasy one. This one is Creepy Creatures and Cryptids. There's like a really cute Mothman in here. It's not on the cover, but it's like a little dumpling. It's so cute. And then these ones, Knotted Lovies. I haven't looked through this one yet. And then this one is gorgeous. These cable knit patterns look insanely beautiful. So yeah, lots of really pretty patterns in that book. And then we've got one sewing book. This one is Handmade Animal Dolls, and I love the look of these toys so much, so I had to bring that in. And then some colorwork knitting hats. So yeah, fun books. I'm in chaos mode right now. It has been a mad dash today, working on all the yarn, dyeing all the pans of yarn. I sat down and did the math for how many skeins I need to dye on all of the dye days that I have remaining before SAF, and it's not looking good. And what I mean by that is if I want to actually get all 400 plus skeins dyed that I ordered, I have to dye, again, I did the math, and with my current setup, it's not going to be feasible unless I work extra hours every day, and best case scenario, because some days are really quiet, and then I can get a lot of stuff dyed. And then other days, you know, Ara needs a lot of attention, of course, she's my daughter. And then I'll have customers with like a lot of questions and stuff. It's all stuff I love to do, but it takes me away from the dye pans. So yeah, the mathematics of me accomplishing all of that yarn before SAF, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I came up with like a secondary number, and like if I can't reach this goal, then I can at least reach this goal and it'll be great. Last year should have been my first year doing SAF, but obviously it was canceled due to really horrible circumstances. So hopefully this year goes off just with, you know, without a hitch, but I have no year over year numbers to compare what to expect in terms of sales, how much I need to come prepared with. So I'm just kind of doing a ballpark to keep the booth nice and stocked for the 3 days that we're vending. You know, it's a much wider audience than some of the other events I've done. And then we have the Alabama Fiber Festival shortly after. So whatever I can do now to prep for that will be great. But yeah, I'm a little tired. It's okay. So it's end of day on Saturday. It was a moderately busy day for the shop. So that gave me lots of time to dye yarn. I think I broke my personal record for amount of skeins dyed in one day, which is like good news all around. Hopefully I can keep that up before until SAF. For knitting group, for the first time in like a year or more, I only had one person. It was my lovely friend Karen. So we just kind of hung out and I dyed yarn while we hung out. And then I had a couple customers this morning before knitting group and then after. So all in all, I've kind of had a lot of free time today to dye yarn. So that's just great. The only knitting I have done today is I finished the last inch or two on my first tie for my side bow slipover that I've been working on. So yes, I have an event to go to tomorrow. So my plan is this evening to go ahead and pick up the stitches for the other side, because this will be easy knitting, easy social knitting. But yeah, I had to make sure to record a clip to show you guys that I finished the first side. So as a reminder for this project, or if you haven't seen it yet, this is my side bow slipover. I'll have it on the screen. And the yarn is this gorgeous Seeing Stone colorway from Cape May Fibers Coraline collection. It's her new non-superwash worsted kind of Aran base. It's like an Aran, but it's kind of interchangeable for worsted, I think. I have the yarn label in the next room, otherwise I would read it to you, but it's a beautiful base, like very squishy. Again, it's this non-superwash, and yeah, it's gorgeous. So I have finished one side, and I realized I'm wearing the perfect shirt today to pair it with, so I definitely wanted to go ahead and show you. So obviously I still have to do this side, but once I get it done, isn't that going to be so cute? I am very excited. So yeah, there's my one big bow. I want to wear it. I wish I could go ahead and wear it. I really think it's so cute with this green kind of flowy style top. So now I know whenever I finish this and I can wear it, I'll get to pair it with this top, which is great. I have several tops in my wardrobe that have these kinds of voluminous sleeves. I think look really pretty when you pair it with a vest like this. But yeah, look at this beautiful detail. So, you know, I've been complaining that this double stitch bow band has been taking a long time, and it is a lot of knitting, but it's so gorgeous, and it provides, like, you can see it adds the perfect width to the shoulder to kind of round it out, and now it actually drapes over my shoulder a little bit, which is nice. I think the other vest that I have does that, but it doesn't necessarily pull down. This yarn, the weight of it is nice because, again, it's really weighted, so it doesn't feel like it's kind of staying open and loose on this side. Of course, the bows are so cute. So yeah, very happy with that. I love the neckline. I think it's very pretty. The pickup rate here is excellent. The way that she tells you to do it, it gives you such a nice curved neckline here in the front, which I think it looks really lovely. It's gonna look even better when it's blocked, I think. It's all tubular cast-ons and bind-offs and all of that, so it just looks nice and finished and polished. So yeah, I'm so happy. This is very close to being done. Something I realized I forgot to mention with this pattern, the whole reason why I picked this one in particular, because there are several slipover patterns that you can pick from that are a similar yarn weight that I could have chosen for this, but I have studied slipover patterns over the years because they're one of my favorite types of knitting patterns. So I made one 2 years ago from Gavak Anna. The Primrose Slipover, and then last year I made the Alchemist Slipover, or no, that was this year. So I made the Alchemist Slipover by Wool and Pine Designs, and I've made several, but there are fewer of them in this worsted weight base. A lot of them are DK usually, so it was harder to find one in worsted. And then my other stipulation was I wanted it to be a size inclusive pattern, and there were not very many that I could find that were both the right weight and size inclusive. So just in case if I shared this and anybody felt inspired to knit it themselves, then hopefully there will be a size that will work for them no matter what. So yeah, I don't know, in the last clip where I was standing, the color was probably not looking quite right, but it is gorgeous. It really does kind of glow like the inspiration. I'm thinking I might watch Coraline tonight while I pick up the stitches for the other side of the slipover, but I watched it when I first received the yarn. I wanted to cast this on and have a little like cast on party while I watched Coraline, and my daughter was, you know, of course home and she was awake, so I turned it on, and it had been a while since I've watched it, but I've probably seen it no less than 100 times. I've watched the movie all the time, but I hadn't watched it in a little while, and you know, she's 3, so I realized that it was getting a little scary. So I remember at one point I turned it off and I said, that's it, that's the end of the movie, that's where it finishes. And I think it was probably right after some of the performances that, you know, Bobinski and everybody does. So I was like, yeah, we'll leave it there. That's the happy, cozy ending. But yeah, when she goes to sleep tonight, if I can manage to stay awake, I may watch the full movie while I work on this again. I haven't really made progress on my AquaMarline sweater since I last shared it. This is my scrap stash busting project that I casted on a couple days ago. And the body portion before joining the sleeves, I think is basically done. And I did start the sleeve, so I have one of the cuffs done, but I need to go ahead and figure out my needle situation and keep going with that. That's what I worked on last night when we were watching Great British Baking Show. I cast it on and knit the cuff for one of the sleeves. So yeah, just as a reminder, I have to do both of the sleeves before I can continue with the body because they are picked up on the next row. Also, this is meant to be a cropped sweater, and I am knitting the small, I think, but I've actually knitted to the length for the largest size. So I like some cropped stuff, but I don't really want it to be like the way that Park models it. Hers is super, super cropped, and I like cropped that sits right at the waistband of my pants because I feel like I just like the silhouette that provides, I guess. I don't really have like, I feel like my torso is kind of straight. I don't really have like a very narrow point in my waist where cropped stuff can sit comfortably. So it's like if I make it cropped, but yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't have a natural place in my waist where cropped stuff can kind of settle. So I feel like I just, cropped stuff isn't that great for me unless it's right at the top of my waistband, basically. At which point I really like that kind of stuff. So I'm rambling. What I'm trying to say is I knitted this to the length of the largest sweater, and still it's like very cropped. Now I am taking into account the measurements that she provides with, like, when you do the crop, take into account that, you know, this portion sits essentially 2 inches lower than where your armpit should be. So this, in combination with the extra 2 inches that she's saying to take into account, should be about 10 inches long. And I do have some sweaters that are 10 inches long in the body that I like a lot. So I'm hoping this will be enough. We will see. I guess the good thing about this project is because the sleeves are knitted separately and then added on after the fact, or like added on during the knitting process for the body. If I decide that I don't like the length, and if I decide to rip it out from the top back down to this point and knit more and then reattach the sleeves, it's like I don't have to also lose the sleeves. I will still have the sleeves. The progress doesn't really change there, or at least a portion of the sleeves. I don't know. Do you get what I mean? So I'm trying to tell myself that it's not super high stakes, but it's been a little while since I've knitted a bottom-up sweater, and so I am a little bit nervous to get the measurements right. But hopefully, with taking into account what she has said about this and knowing what I like, hopefully it'll be just perfect. If anything, I would rather this be a little bit too long. Normally I'm more on the side of like I'd rather it be a little bit too short, but I think with this design I'd rather it be a little bit too long. So yeah, can you tell that I'm kind of doubting the length right now? I'm almost feeling like I should add a little bit more length. I mean, that looks really short, right? So yeah, but part of me feels like I won't know until I do it. So I guess we'll see. I just heard my last dye pans turn off, so the timer that I set turns them off automatically. And I think that means I'm all done for the day. So I'm gonna go check them real quick, make sure everything is fully exhausted and all of that with the dye bath. And I think I'm gonna make myself a little coffee to go. And I'm gonna reuse my cup from the coffee shop earlier. It still has a little bit of the cinnamon and stuff in it, so I think that'll be delicious. And I started scanning up a bunch of the yarn today that I've been dyeing. So right here on the couch, I have like lots of all of the minis that I've been scanning. I'm setting them in their bundles. I need to package them and print labels and all of that. But I'm gonna try not to think about work tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a fun day where, you know, I'm going to the park and knitting with the Birmingham Knit Club. And then I'm hoping on the way home, well, we probably won't be there for super long. I'm hoping on the way home we'll stop and get the paint so I can paint the kitchen. Yeah, because update. So I was conversing with my husband this morning about the plan for the vision that I see for the kitchen, for the paint, and he agreed, so I'm excited. So follow up for if you saw yesterday's video and the past couple days, really. I swatched all of my different paint colors, so that was like 2 whites, a beige, and a green, and I wanted to see how, you know, everything would play with the light and just how it compared to the current paint color and all of that. So everything dried, and then I added a second coat this morning, and once that dried, you know, I could kind of see the true color since some of the dye was sort of thin, and the paint was thin with the first layer, so now I kind of have like an idea of what it will look like better. So the plan is to do that natural linen paint color as I shared, and then I am going to do the stamps in that clary sage, the green color. And I'm going to do the trims in white. So I'm not going to do the bottom part in the green. Jason was not a fan of that, and that's fine. I get it. Like, I love that look. I just think that our house isn't right for that. So if I ever move one of these days, that's something I would probably look for in another house where I could have my contrast walls, but it's okay. At least I get to do the stencil part, and I'm going to be swapping out the lighting fixtures. I'm going to try to do that tonight, at least try to do one of the 3, and we'll see how that goes. And then, yeah, hopefully tomorrow I can get started on the paint. I'm just so excited about the thought of painting finally. I'm not excited about the work, but I'm excited about the refresh for the house. So my plan is in October, I'm just going to do the kitchen. That's already a pretty big task when, you know, we have so much going on right now. But in November, after the Alabama Fiber Festival, I hope to do the living room, and then eventually the bedroom, and maybe do something fun in the guest bathroom, and probably leave it at that. That's pretty much every room in our house anyway, but yeah. So I'm gonna do the kitchen this month, and I'm just gonna try to keep it narrowed in and just appreciate that I can do that, and then when I have time, move to the living room. So yeah, I hope you all are having a lovely day. I just sat down and finally was able to read and reply to some of the comments you guys have been leaving, and yeah, you guys make me so happy. It's fun seeing some of the familiar names from last year and the year before that. It's amazing how many of you have come back year after year to spend your October with me. One of my in-person customers and friends, she said that my Vlogtober is her Super Bowl, so that like made me feel so good. I called my mom and told her. Yeah, I thought that was fun. I just think that's awesome. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm a little bit delirious. Let me go ahead and turn off this 15-minute long clip and go make some coffee and go home. I lied. I'm back. It's been about 10 seconds. I realized I still haven't showed you guys this project. So I shared a picture or 2 on Instagram when I first started working on it, but yeah, I haven't actually shared it yet here. And this is like the epitome of an October project, so I have to share it. I have yet to watch Over the Garden Wall this month. Don't worry, I did already watch it like 5 times in September, but I really need the time to work on this. So you can probably tell, but this is my Enoch bag. This was made by Tiny Human Knits and Laura, and it's based on Enoch from Over the Garden Wall. Side note, if you have not seen Over the Garden Wall, please, why are you watching my video? Turn this off right this second and go watch Over the Garden Wall. But this has my Over the Garden Wall project inside. So yeah, there's my Enoch bag. And this is my insanely beautiful Over the Garden Wall scarf by Katarina Kuntz. Yes, I got it right that time. Katarina Kuntz. It's amazing, and I haven't even taken it out of the bag at all in the past week or so. But you can see we've got little Greg coming up. He's almost done. I'm making his little teapot, and then Mr. President / Benjamin Franklin / Wirt Jr. / all of the names. His pet frog will be on top of the teapot. And of course we have Wirt over here. I've got his little coat with the cute little buttons, and so now I'll do his little head and his hat. And yeah, if you have never seen her patterns before, they are amazing, and she has so many. She's got a Katamari one. It's a video game that I love, and I would love to make the Katamari scarf at some point. She also has a Stardew Valley one. She's got some Legend of Zelda ones. Just incredible. I'll make sure to link her and her patterns down below. But yeah, so it's reversible is the amazing thing. So here they are again in the caramel latte color. I plan on wearing it like this, I think. I think that it kind of pops a little bit better, having the dark color be the picture. But yeah, so this design goes through all of the episodes of Over the Garden Wall. So I'm still in episode 1 up here. So I will get Beatrice, and it'll have like the Beast, not the Beast. It'll have the fake the Beast, the one that Greg thinks is the Beast, who has beautiful eyes, and all kinds of stuff. Just the whole show is on this scarf, and I'm only a couple inches in, but I think this has been like 8 hours of work already. So yeah, it's not a fast project. I fully anticipate this taking me probably a year. But these are my 2 yarns. So this is my caramel latte colorway on the non-superwash fingering weight. So it's non-superwash merino fingering weight yarn. I love non-superwash for color work. And then this is Cricket by Kilbourne Woolens, which I carry in my shop. It's right there, actually. This color is over there. And I can't think of what the color is, but I believe it's on my Ravelry page. It's on my website. Yeah. So I'm using that because I really liked this combination. Initially, I was planning on doing this with my Mariner's Tail colorway, which I think would have been beautiful. But when I saw these 2 together, I don't know, it just made me feel really happy, I guess. Like it worked for this design, I think. So yeah, that's the start of my scarf. Of course, I've got to show you my stitch markers. This is a little hand-carved pumpkin from Tilting Planet. Oops. Tilting Planet, who is an Alabama maker, which is awesome. Very cute. And then here we've got my wort from one of my favorite people, Lindsay. She was formerly Simply Serving. I got that from her right before she closed up shop, and I wish that I had purchased the Greg. I'm very sad I didn't get Greg. I should have gotten Greg. So yeah, that's my Over the Garden Wall project, my very happy project that I have to have lots of concentration for in order to knit. Okay, now I'm going home.
2 points.
2 points. All together or each?
And each coat of arms is worth an additional 2.